بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وصلنا إلى الوحدة 11. We've reached the 11th chapter, which is called An-Nas wal-Amakin, the people and places. في هذا الكتاب العربية بين يديك, in this book العربية بين يديك, Arabic between your hands. وسنبدأ الحوار الأول. We will begin the first dialogue. بين ثابت وحارث, between ثابت and حارث. فقال ثابت said لماذا تركت العراق. لماذا means why. ترك يترك, I think we've mentioned before, it means to leave. So تركت, you left. So why did you leave al-Iraq? Why did you leave from, or why did you leave Iraq? Well, Harith says انطلقت الشركة إلى جدة. So we have a new vocab word here, انطلق ينطلق, which means to move. I think I've said it wrong. انتقل ينتقل. عفوا. انتقل ينتقل, move. So انتقلت means it moved or she moved, and the thing that moved is الشركة, the company, or you know, that basically my company that I work at moved إلى جدة, to the city of Jeddah or Jeddah. Either way can be used. And then he says وأنا مدير الشركة هنا, and I am the director or like the manager of the company here. هنا means here, and هناك means there. So ثابت says كنت سعيدا في العراق. كنت is the conjugation for anta from the word kana, meaning you were. سعيدا, happy. في العراق, in Iraq. You were happy in Iraq. So Harith says هذا صحيح. Yes, meaning this is true. Yes. العراق بلد جميل. Iraq is a beautiful country. ولي أصدقاء هناك, and I have friends plural, هناك, there. So Thabit says ما رأيت عفوا ما رأيك في جدة. So ما means what. رأيك is a good word to know, a good terminology. It means your opinion or your view. Like how we say in English, your view means your opinion or your position on a matter, not the view as in your physical, your sense of sight. So just like we use the word for sight, which is view, for to mean like an opinion or position, the same can be done in Arabic. So ra'yun from the verb ra'a yara, to see, رأيك is your opinion. So رأيي would be my opinion, or رأيه would be his opinion, right? So he says, what is your opinion في جدة? Meaning not in Jeddah. We know in some contexts, the word fi can mean on, right? So what is your opinion on Jeddah or about Jeddah, basically? But this is the harf that is used when you're asking about someone's opinion on a certain matter. So what is your opinion on Jeddah? Harith says, Juddatu madinatun kabiratun. Jeddah is a big city. Wa jamilatun jiddan, and very beautiful. One thing to note is that some countries or cities will have an alif lam on them, and some, like Jeddah, will not. So it's just a matter of learning them. So Thabit says, كيف تقضي الوقت في جدة? We know كيف is how. تقضي, we've come across many times. قضى يقضي, to spend. And al-waqt is time, right? So how do you spend the time في جدة, in Jeddah? So Harith says, أذهب مع الأسرة, I go with my family, or with the family. He's talking about his own family. إلى شاطئ البحر. We had the word شاطئ in the last chapter, which was beach, and al-bahr is the sea. So the beach of the sea, or basically the beach. I think you can either just say ash-shati, or you can also say shati al-bahr. So I go with the family to the beach. And then Thabit says, وَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُ الْآنِ? And where are you going right now? Where are you going now? So Harith says, أَذْهَبُ إِلَى مَكَّةِ. I am going to Mecca. لِلْعُمْرَةِ وَالصَّلَاةِ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. For Umrah and making Salah in Al-Masjid al-Haram. So Thabit says, كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى مكة? So this is a good phrase to know. This phrase, كم تستغرق الرحلة, كم تستغرق الرحلة. It means how long does the journey take? Basically, how much time does the journey take? إلى مكة, to Mecca. So Harith says, تستغرق ساعة واحدة تقريبا. So it takes 1 hour. تقريبا means like approximately. It takes approximately 1 hour. No. So inshallah, who will read for us this dialogue?
I'll read, inshallah.
Who was that?
Rashid.
So Rashid will be Thabit, and who will read as Harith?
I'll read.
Mahmoud. طيب.
نعم.
تفضل.
بسم الله. لماذا تركت العراق؟
اقرأ وثم ترجمة.
Oh, I'm sorry. Subhanallah. Why did you leave Iraq?
أن تلقت الشريكة إلى جدة وأنا مديرش شركة هنا. So my company moved to Jeddah, and I am the president in the company here.
كنت سعيدا في العراق. Were you happy in Iraq?
It wasn't a question, Akhi.
Oh,
Yeah.
subhanAllah. I definitely said it like that, right?
نعم.
هذا صحيح. العراق بلد جميل ولي I can't see it. أصدقاء هناك.
نعم. أصدقاء.
ولي أصدقاء هناك. This is correct. Iraq is a beautiful city, is a beautiful country, and I have friends there.
نعم.
ما رأيك في جدة? Why are you, subhanAllah?
It's not why. What is ma?
What?
Yeah, what?
ما معنى رأيك again?
أرأيت. You know أرأيت? I was just trying to give him a clue.
أرأيت.
No,
I can't remember it.
كقول الله تعالى أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين أرأيت.
Okay, so it says, what have you seen in Jeddah?
Almost. What is your view? Remember we explained Ra'a yara is to see. So Ra'yun is the masdar, which means your like view or sight, right?
No.
So Ra'yuka is your view. And in
ما
that,
رأيك في جدة? What is your view of Jeddah?
now, what does that mean?
Opinion.
Your opinion. No.
جدة مدينة كبيرة وجميلة جدا. Jeddah is a very big city, and is a very beautiful city. When it's very beautiful.
No, well, he didn't say Jiddan in the first half, so you wouldn't say very for big. He just said it's a big city, not a very big city.
Right.
Just small technicality.
Yeah, right.
كيف تقضي الوقت في جدة? What time do you arrive in Jeddah?
No, that was kaifa. What does kaifa mean, Akhi?
Oh, how? SubhanAllah.
How?
How did you arrive, or how will you arrive in Jeddah?
No, it's not arrive. What is taqdi? Qada yaqdi.
Or how will you travel to Jeddah? How will you go to Jeddah?
No. Qada we had before. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, like if I ask you kaifa taqdi al-yawm. Or kaifa qadayta al-yawm.
I don't remember.
How did you blank your day? I mean, context, what would you think?
How did you spend your day?
Naam. So taqdi is you spend.
Okay, I have one. How will you spend your time in Jeddah?
Naam, your time or the time in Jeddah. Naam.
أذهب مع أسرتي إلى الشاطئ البحري. I went with my family to the beach in the ocean.
Close, but he's not talking about in the past tense, is he? He said adhabu.
Oh, I will go. I went. I said I went.
Yeah. It's more like talking like habitually, or like what he usually does, like, because when you ask how do you spend your time in Jeddah, or how are you spending your time?
So how would you
It's-
translate?
I would say I go with my family to the beach. I go like, what do you do on a normal basis? I go with my family to the beach. Like, what do you do in your free time? I go to the bookstore, like that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
وإلى أين تذهب الآن? And where will you go now?
أذهب إلى مكة للعمرة والصلاة في المسجد الحرام. حرام. I'm going to Mecca to perform Umrah and to pray in the Masjid al-Haram.
كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى المكة? And what time will you be taking your journey or trip to Mecca?
Remember, what does kam mean again?
Become, usually you say how much?
Yeah, how much? So
Okay,
you wouldn't say.
How long will it take for
نعم.
your journey to Mecca? Afwan.
أي نعم.
جزاك الله خير.
آمين وإياك.
تستغرق ساعة واحدة تقريبا. It will take 1 hour, approximately 1 hour.
نعم. It takes approximately 1 hour.
This word تقريبا, could you interchange that with mumkin or not? Or sometimes?
No, because mumkin means maybe or possibly. It's not really the same meaning. Taqriban is like almost or about. Like when you want to say like in when you're talking about time in any way or any kind of number, you use taqriban to mean like approximately or almost or about. Like when are you gonna go to the store? I'll go around 3 o'clock. That's when you would use taqriban, like الساعة الثالثة تقريبا, at 3 o'clock, or like approximately. So mumkin means maybe, right? So it doesn't really.
No, I was just asking because in English, it's kind of interchangeable.
How do you mean?
Like in English, you could say, how long does it take you to get to
Oh,
maybe an hour. Like you can, it's almost, in English is kind of
yeah. So
interchangeable.
you're kind of saying two different things there. Like you can say it that way, but it's not the exact same thing you're saying. I know, I understand what you mean though. It's like similar. But if you did remove, yeah, if you mean it like that, if you did remove taqriban and say like تستغرق ساعة واحدة, ممكن, or I don't know where you would put it in the sentence, but like, yeah, you could say that and say maybe it takes about an hour. Maybe it takes an hour.
Maybe you would say ممكن تستغرق ساعة واحدة.
That's what I believe as well. بارك الله فيك.
فيك بارك.
نعم. Or you could say يمكن or تمكن أن تستغرق ساعة واحدة. Anyway, you wouldn't just like swap it out with taqriban and have that same structure or meaning. And also Abu Zubair, barakallahu fik. Abu Zubair pointed out something I missed it, or like I thought it sounded weird, but I didn't really identify it. The word astiqa'un, it should not have a tanween. It's astiqa'u. So that's a typo there. And just double check on that. 1 second. Yeah. and it's a special type of word. So inshallah, we're going to continue to the second dialogue. Al-Hiwar al-Thani, Bayna Layth wa Thamir, between Layth and Thamir. So Layth begins by saying, Min ayna hadart. Min ayna hadarta. So the verb hadara yahduru, it means to be present. Be present or basically like come. So min aina means from where, hadarta, where did you come, from where did you come, or where did you come from? So Thamir says, hadartu min al-Yaman, ana Yamani, Yamaniyun. So this, this goes back to our first chapter where, we learned, the difference between min al-Yaman and Yamaniyun. I've come from Yemen and I am Yemeni. No? So Layth says, وَمَتَى حَضَرْتَ مِنَ الْيَمَنِ, and when did you come from Yemen? So Thamir says, حَضَرْتُ قَبْلَ 10 سَنَوَاتٍ. I came, if you do like one word at a time, or in this specific word order, it sounds weird because you would say, I came before 10 years. But in English, we would say, I came 10 years ago. That would be the better translation here. I came 10 years ago. So Layth says, هل معك الجنسية اليمنية? So هل معك, it means, do you have, or do you have with you, or is there with you, which means do you have. And al-jinsiyya, also from the first chapter we learned, remember that jinsiyya is a nationality. But in this case, when he says al-jinsiyyatul yamaniyya, we could say like citizenship. Do you have a Yemeni citizenship? Or I guess you can say nationality as well. So Thamir says, Na'am, yes, wa ma'i, and I have jawazu safari al-Yamaniyu. So this word jawazu safar is an important word to know for traveling. It means passport. Al-Yamani, a Yemeni passport. I have a Yemeni passport. So Layth says, Hal hadarta lil amal? Did you come for work? Lil amal. So Thamir says, La hadartu lid dirasa. No, I came for studying. Wa ba'da dirasa, and after studying, tazawwajtu. From tazawwaja yatazawwaju, which means to get married. So after studying, I got married. So Layth says, وَمَاذَا تَعْمَلُ هُنَا? And what do you do here? What do you do, or what work do you do here? So Thamir says, أَنَا أُسْتَاذٌ فِي الْجَامِعَةِ. I am a teacher or instructor fil jamia, in the university. Since it's teacher in the university, I think you translate as professor. Yes. I'm a professor in the university. So Layth says, هل تزور اليمن? Do you visit Yemen? From Zara yazuru. And he says, Thamir says, نعم, yes. And then he says, أقضي العطلة مع الأسرة في اليمن. I spend the vacation. أقضي. We have this word so many times. So if you didn't, if you can't get it yet, try to make sure you get it. أقضي, I spend. العطلة, the vacation, with my family, مع الأسرة, or with the family, في اليمن, in Yemen. So like says, هل أنت سعيد هنا? Now he's asking, are you happy here? So Thamir says, نعم والحمد لله. Yes, and all praises for Allah. Yeah. So now let's have two of us read this dialogue and translate it for us, please. We'll go. Abdul Hakim. And how about Abdul Karim?
نعم طيب.
من أين حضرت من أين حضرت ما معنى حضرت
حضر يحضر بمعنى come.
نعم. Is that where did you come from?
نعم.
حضرت من اليمن. أنا يمني. I came from Yemen and I am Yemeni.
ومتى حضرت
عفوا.
نعم. ومتى حضرت من اليمن? And when did you come from Yemen?
حضرت قبل 10 سنوات. I came 10 years ago.
هل معك جنسيات يمنية? Do you have a Yemeni passport?
Here he's asking about the passport.
الجنسية يمن. Do you have with you Yemeni what is that? جنسية nationality, is it?
Yeah, no, nationality or like citizenship.
Do you have with you Yemeni citizenship?
No. You don't have to like translate the ma'aka with you. That's just it's something used
okay.
in the Arabic that doesn't translate to English.
Oh, okay. No.
نعم ومعي جواز السفر اليمني. Yes, and I also, well, not also, yes, and I have a Yemeni passport.
No.
هل حضرت العمل؟
Not al-amal.
هل حضرت العمل؟
لا, look closely at the word. It's not alif lam. It's two lams.
هل حضرت للعمل؟
No.
للعمل. What's that? Did you come for work?
No.
لا حضرت للدراسة وبعد دراستي تزوجت. No. What?
Try reading the word again.
Which one?
The last one.
تزوجت.
No. You had like a tongue twister moment there.
Okay, طيب.
Yeah.
No, I came for studies and after the studies, I got married.
وماذا تعمل هنا? And what do you do here?
أنا أستاذ في الجامعة. I'm a teacher or professor at the university.
هل تزوروا Yemen? That's the passport, isn't it?
No, that was jawaz.
Uh,
This is a verb, tazuru.
هل تزوروا
Zara
Yemen?
yazuru. Maybe it'll help if I give you the masdar of this verb, which is ziyara.
زيارة. هل تزوروا اليمن? Is that is it it's not visit.
No, it is.
No, visit. هل
نعم.
تزوروا اليمن? Do you visit Yemen?
نعم.
نعم أقضي العطلة مع الأسرة في اليمن. نعم, I spend my vacation with my family in Yemen.
نعم.
هل أنت سعيد هنا? Are you happy here?
نعم والحمد لله.
الحمد لله.
Alhamdulillah. بارك الله فيكم. I thought it was funny how you didn't even attempt to translate that. Like, it needs no translation.
Wouldn't do it any justice.
No, alhamdulillah. جزاكم الله خيرا. فنستمر, we continue. إلى الحوار الثالث, to the third dialogue. Bayna Ahmad wa Badr, between Ahmad and Badr. So Ahmad begins by saying, أين تسكن الآن يا بدر? We had سكن يسكن, right? ما معنى تسكن?
To live.
No, you live.
Where
تسكن.
do you
So
live?
أين is where? تسكن, you live. Where do you live? الآن, now, or Badr. So Badr says, أسكن في القرية. I live in the village. Remember, we had this story in the Nahu book, I think, right? It was, the title of the story was Qaryatu Khalid, I think. The Khalid's village. So Ahmad says, لماذا تركت المدينة? Why did you leave the city? So Badr says, القرية هادئة والهواء نقي. So he says the village is peaceful, calm. And al-hawa is the air. And the air is clean or pure. So Ahmad says, ولكن, but, في المدينة جامعات. But in the city, there are universities. In the city, there are universities. ومستشفيات, and hospitals. And then he says وشركات, and companies. وأسواق, and markets. From suq. These are all the plural words. جامعة, جامعات. مستشفى, مستشفيات. شركة, شركات. سوق, أسواق. So Badr says, وفي المدينة أيضا ضوضاء, which is, he says, and in the city is also ضوضاء, noise, and yeah, I guess just you can say noise. وتلوث, and pollution, or dirtiness. وازدحام, and crowdedness, crowds. And Ahmed says, لماذا تسكن في القرية وأنت تعمل في المدينة? So he says, why do you live in the village, right? وأنت, this is while you, we might kind of learn about this in more detail, but I mentioned, I think once before, that in some contexts, or maybe this was in another another class we were doing, but in some contexts, the wow, it doesn't translate to and, instead it translates to while. So in this case, he's asking, why do you live in the village while you تعمل في المدينة, you work in the city? Sometimes, like if you just make that assessment by looking at the context. So if you, in this context, if you translate the wow as and, لماذا تسكن في القرية, why do you live in the city, or why do you live in the village and you work in the city? It makes more sense to say while you work in the city, like even though you work in the city, or while you work in the city. That's how we would normally ask the question. No. So then Badr says, ليس هناك مشكلة. ليس means not. Right? ليس is it kind of acts like a verb, but it's not really. So you basically just say there's not هناك there's no problem. Mushkila is a problem. There's no problem there, or with that. Or ليس هناك problem. There's no problem. Meaning, like, with this question he's asking, why do you live in the village while you work in the city? He's saying there's no issue there with that situation. Like, there's no problem with me living in the village and working in the city. So then Ahmed says, كيف تذهب إلى المدينة? How do you go to the city? Meaning, like, from the village, how do you go to the city? So Badr says, أذهب بالقطار. I go by train. Qitar is the word for train. So Ahmed says, كم تستغرق الرحلة? The phrase that we learned earlier in the first dialogue. How long does it take? The journey. How long does the journey take? إلى المدينة, to the city. So Badr says, تستغرق ساعة. It takes 1 hour. ونصف الساعة. And half an hour. Basically, we would say 1.5 hours, right? تقريبا, approximately. تستغرق ساعة ونصف الساعة تقريبا. It takes approximately 1.5 hours. No. So inshallah, let's have 2 people read this. How about Sheikh Unku?
Inshallah.
And Sheikh Ahmed, you with
No.
us?
No, I'm here.
So, inshallah, Sheikh will read first, and Sheikh Ahmed will read as Badr.
بسم الله. أين تسكن الآن يا بدر؟ Where do you live now, O Badr?
Askunu fil Qaryati. I live in the village.
لماذا تركت المدينة? Why do you leave the city?
El Qaryatu hadiyatun. Well, hawa'u naki'un. The village is more peaceful, and the air is cleaner or pure.
ولكن في المدينة جامعات ومستشفيات وشركات وأسواق. But in the city, there are universities, hospitals, companies, and markets.
وفي المدينة أيضا دعوا وتلوثوا وازدهروا. And in the cities also, and the cities are also noisy, dirty, and crowded.
لماذا تسكن في القرية؟ لماذا تسكن في القرية وأنت تعمل في المدينة? Why do you live in the village while you work in the city?
ليس هناك مشكلة. That is not a problem.
كيف تذهب إلى المدينة? How do you go to the city?
أذهب بالقطار. I go by train.
كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى المدينة? How long does it take? How long does the journey take to the city?
تستغرق ساعة وصف الساعة تقريبا. Okay. It takes approximately an hour and a half.
مع السلامة.
بارك الله فيكم. الحمد لله. أحسنتما. Does anyone have any comments or questions about this? The vocabulary, at least dialogue, so we read.
Nah.
From now on, if anyone has any questions, they're gonna have to ask in Arabic.
Might not get them answered then. Inshallah.
Okasha.
نعم شيخ.
When you want to ask something, okay, you want to say, how do I say?
كيف أقول.
كيف أقول.
نعم.
نعم.
كيف أقول, for example, مثلا كيف أقول I go by car, and then I would say تقول أذهب بالسيارة. I go by car.
No.
Yeah, that's very good one, because I'm trying to learn how to speak. So maybe all of us will now start saying in the Telegram chat, send some voice notes and say, I want to say this sentence. كيف أقول هذا? How do I say this?
No. كيف أقول هذا؟
نعم. بارك الله فيك. Inshallah, then we end it there. And again, just as a reminder, we want to all try to use these dialogues that we've been reading to practice with each other in the Telegram group. I know that sometimes we're busy, but whenever we get a chance, just leave a voice note, like Ustad Ilir mentioned, that whether you get it right or wrong, you might chop it up and mess up your sentence like really badly. It doesn't matter, because someone who understands what you're trying to say and kind of understands how to say it will correct you, inshallah. No. So inshallah sanuhawil. If inshallah we will try, right? Hawala yuhawilu, to try.
Try.
Inshallah سنحاول.
حاول. أنا حاول.
أحاول. نسأل الله أن يوفقنا. We ask Allah to grant us success. آمين.
آمين.
ونقول سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
بارك الله فيك.
وفيكم بارك الله.
جزاك الله خير.
آمين وإياكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وبركاته.